So this is lesson number 80 in Algebra 1, and this lesson is called Operations with Scientific Notation. Now we have done scientific notation before, and that is when we have a large number like that. Scientific notation means that we put the decimal after the first non-zero number, and we write times 10, and then we count how many places we went. So we went from here, we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places. So we put a 6 up there, meaning that's how far away the decimal is from where it should be. So where it should be is right there. Where it is there. So we, in order to go back, we would have to go 6 places to the right, therefore that's a positive number. If we had 0.000 like that, and we wanted to write that in scientific notation, we would write 4, decimal after the first non-zero number, times 10, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We moved it 6 places away from where it should be. So in order for it to go back to where it should be, we'd have to go in the negative direction. So any number that is less than 1 gets a negative. Any number that's greater than 1 gets a positive. Alright, so that'll just take some practice. It's hard to remember which one is negative and which one is positive. So we'll keep practicing that. But what we're going to do in this lesson is we're going to multiply and divide scientific notation. And it's really not too terrible. So let's say that we have a number like 0.003 times 10 to the negative 4. That is not in scientific notation because our zero is in the wrong place. Remember, our zero has to be one digit to the right of the first non-zero number. So this should be written as 3 times 10. Alright, now how far did we have to move it? 1, 2, 3. We had to move it 3 places to the right. So we moved it 3 places to the right, and that's what gave us this one right here. And to get it back to where it should be, we'd have to go 1, 2, 3. So that would be there. But we also have this involved, so we're going to put that, just stick it on here. These two we're going to have to add to get everything right. So we not only moved their decimal place over from here over to here and got negative 3, but this negative 4 also has to figure in. So all we have to do is add the negative 4 and the negative 3 and get a negative 7. Alright, now what we're doing is taking that and changing it. They also gave us the number 2 times 10 to the 20th, and I'm looking at example 80.1, and they want us to multiply these, but we first of all have to write them in correct scientific notation. Alright, so the second one here is in correct scientific notation. The decimal is after the 2, and everything else is good. So we're going to go ahead and make that a parenthesis, and make that a parenthesis, and we're going to multiply those. Alright, so the way we multiply scientific notation is we just multiply these two numbers and get 6, make that times 10, and then we add our exponent. So a negative 7 plus a 20 is a 13, and we just added. Okay? Let's try another one. Let's look at example 80.2, and they give us 0.00041, 4 times 10 to the negative 5, and they want us to multiply that by 700,000. Alright, so probably the hardest part is changing everything to scientific notation. So again, we have to move this decimal to the right of the first non-zero number. So 4 times 10, and we're going to put our 10 to the minus 5 just over here. Okay, because that's going to be part of it eventually. So how many decimal places did we move from here to here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we moved it 5 decimal places. But is that a positive or a negative number on that 5? Well, you can look at it and say, well, this number here is less than 1, so it's negative. Or you can look at it as, I just moved the decimal place here. To get it back to where it should be, I have to go in the negative direction. Okay, and that's where that comes from. Alright, so let's go ahead and write this in scientific notation then with both of those exponents. And what we're going to do is we're going to add those together again. And then we're going to change this to scientific notation. So we have 7 times 10. And we move the decimal place from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places. So this is going to be a 5. Now, it's there. In order to get it back to where it's supposed to be, we'd have to move it 5 to the right, which means that would be positive. So we're good to go. And you don't really have to write the point 0. You can just write it as a 7, because the point 0 doesn't mean anything. Then we multiply our numbers here and here, and then we add our exponents. Okay? Not done yet. Why are we not done? The decimal is here and it's supposed to be there. So we have to move that decimal one more point over. Alright, so it's there. And we have our negative 5. In fact, let's move this negative 5 over a little bit. Kind of like we did up here. You know, we kind of moved it out of the way while we worked on doing the scientific notation here. And that's what we're doing here. We move the decimal one place over. Where is it supposed to be? It's supposed to be over here. So in order to get it in the right place, we have to move it over 1 to the right. So we have 2.8 times 10, and then we add our exponents. 1 minus 5 is negative 4, and we're done. Okay, we do the same thing with doing division on these. So when we do division, instead of multiplying, we're going to divide. Instead of adding the exponents, we're going to subtract. So it's not too terrible. So we have 0.0016, and we're trying to divide it by 400,000. So it's 0.0016 over 400,000. Alright, let's work on the top here. We're going to change that to 1.6 times 10, and how far did we move this decimal? 1, 2, 3. So that's going to be a 3. Question is it going to be a positive or a negative 3? Well, this number here is smaller than 1, so it'll be a negative 3. Or, again, we moved it 1, 2, 3 over away from where it should be. To go back where it should be, we'd have to move it to the left, which means it's negative. 400,000, 4.0 times 10, and how far did we move the decimal? It was right there. We moved it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places. And to move it back, we'd have to move from here to the right. And to the right is always positive, so that's going to be positive. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to divide these two. 1.6 divided by 4. 1.6 divided by 4 is 0.4. And then we make times 10, and then we subtract those two. We have a negative 3 minus 5. We're going to subtract. Gives me a negative 8. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Problem is, this isn't done right yet. In order for it to be in scientific notation, the decimal has to be here, not there. So we have to move that decimal place over 1. And we'll put our 10 to the minus 8 over here, just so we keep it there. Okay, so we had to move it over 1. And in order to get it back to its place where it's supposed to be, we'd have to go to the left one. So this is going to be a negative. Okay. So one thing you can do, you can say, okay, in order for this to be in scientific notation, I'm going to have to move this over to the right one place. Whenever I move my decimal to the right, my exponent is negative. Whenever I move my exponent to, like here, from here to the left, my exponent is positive. So moving the decimal from right to left is positive. From left to right is negative, and that might make it easier for you as well. Alright, so let's put these two together by adding those. Because when they're side by side, we add them. When they are on top of each other like this, we subtract them, and that gives us 4 times 10 to the minus 9. Okay, so that's it for multiplication and the division. Now what we're going to do is we're going to combine a whole bunch of stuff together. We're going to combine the multiplication and the division and see what we come up with for that. And we will do a combination of multiplication and division in the next video.